So far, the Walt Disney Company has refused to say whether they're closing down the parks, and they're only closing down at 2 p.m. today as the recording of this message. And they're saying that they are likely not going to be open tomorrow, meaning that they still want cast members to stay regardless. And we have some new information on the impact of this hurricane on the Disney Company. Let's talk about that on That Park Place. Hello, I am Jonas J. Campbell, an investigative reporter for That Park Place. And here with me is a man who's followed in the footsteps of Bob Iger, our weatherman for today, Mr. VashSky.
That's quite the claim right there, Jonas. Following in the footsteps of Bob Iger. Well, hopefully I can be your Iger today. And hey, maybe you can be my John Lasseter. Oh, wait a minute. That's not a good example. This is a terrible example. Jonas, what position have you put me into?
Here at That Park Place, we have a 100-year history of telling stories. Let's go first to Walt Disney, or disneyworld.disney.go.com/experience-updates/weather-updates/ Oh my. Here is the monitoring of Hurricane Milton page on the Disney website. We continue to closely monitor the path of Hurricane Milton. Based on the latest projection, we are making additional operational adjustments for the safety of our guests and cast members beginning Wednesday, October 9th. Walt Disney Emergency Operations Center is connected to weather experts and community leaders. Please know these adjustments have been made in order to leave plenty of time for our guests and cast members to return to their resort hotels or homes safely, hours before higher winds are expected to reach Central Florida. Operational impacts include Walt Disney World theme parks on Wednesday, October 9th. Our theme parks and Disney Springs will be closed in phases beginning at 1 p.m. Hollywood Studios and Animal Kingdom at 1 p.m. and Magic Kingdom and Epcot and Disney Springs at 2 p.m. So today, they only close the parks at 2 p.m. We'll have to re-record this video if it ends up that they didn't close it at 2 p.m. today. It's likely the theme parks will remain closed on October 10th. This bothers me so much right here that they say it is likely the theme parks will remain closed on Thursday, October 10th. Vash, what does that mean?
I don't know. It means that they're still trying to decide whether or not they want to take the financial hit or whether or not they want to, operate within the best interests of both their cast members and their guests. I'll say this, Jonas, we have a lot of cast members. We have a lot of people who are a little bit teed off that Disney and other theme park proprietors as well waited as long as they did in order to announce some operational shifts regarding the theme parks because, well, not everybody who works at Walt Disney World or any of these theme parks lives in Central Florida. In some places, you actually have people that are in mandatory evacuation zones or just on the cusp of those. And now, if they want to evacuate because, perhaps, their shifts might be impacted by these closures, well, they can't because it's too late. So I'm not liking not only this whole Thursday up in the air kind of thing, but also too how late these announcements or non-announcements were given.
That's very true. If we want to put this here as of 5:45 p.m. yesterday, okay. So the people that I know that were in Florida got out of Florida yesterday, starting in the morning. Also, and just so we're completely fair, Universal Studios is also closing for Hurricane Milton at a similar time. I will point that out. And here we are. The Walt Disney World Resort is preparing for a rare weather-related closure, and Universal Studios Orlando will be doing the same. Orlando is predicted to experience very significant hurricane winds and rain starting Wednesday and going all the way through Thursday. As a result, the following are closed in phases. Typhoon Lagoon. I mean, really, who's going to Typhoon Lagoon when you could just experience, what those near the Atlantic Ocean call a typhoon here in the United States? Disney's Hollywood Studios closing at 1 p.m. Epcot, we've got that. Here it is. Mickey's Not So Scary Halloween Party at Magic Kingdom on October 10th is canceled, and reserve tickets are being refunded. I'm not so sure about that just yet. They have yet to confirm whether or not they're canceling it. So I'm going to disagree with Pro. It seems likely that it'll cancel. It says it is likely the theme parks will remain closed, including the cancellation of Mickey's Not So Scary. See, there are people that I know in my life that take the likely as meaning, it's going to go my way, regardless of how I want this. And there might be some person who has paid a lot of money for their Disney trip and only has a limited number of vacation days, and now they're riding it out in Florida. No announced dates when the park will reopen. Go ahead, Vash.
Well, no, I was just going to say, well, why the ambiguity surrounding all of this? That's the craziest part about this. They should be refunding tickets right now. Pro's report should be absolutely correct. And yet we have this wishy-washy response from Disney, even though like we have airports in the area that are already saying that flights will be impacted by this. So even if you do have people who could possibly make it their way into Florida, that might trip them up. It's all these things that will that will impact operations for not just Walt Disney World Resort, but others. Again, why be so wishy-washy about all this?
Of course, we know why Disney would be so hesitant to actually close down the parks. And Vash, I think you've got information you're going to present there. But before we do that, I just want to point out the level of danger that we're talking about here. We now anticipate the resort could experience wind gusts in excess of 100 miles per hour, sustained winds of 85 miles per hour, up to 10 inches of rain, and hurricane-level weather emergencies for many hours. Additionally, hurricanes can and do often spawn tornado activities. This is a big deal, and we have people in the area, so please keep them in your thoughts. But Vash, I think you've got the information on why Disney is going to stay open. And, while we could say it's money, it helps to get very specific with it.
I do agree. And Benzinga actually has the specified information for us. Disney faces $150 to $200 million blow from Hurricane Milton. Attendance set to drop 6%, says Goldman Sachs. Domestic attendance at Walt Disney World is projected to decline 6% year over year, up from an earlier 2% decline estimate due to the storm. And it basically goes on to repeat that, but also it says Irma caused a $100 million hit to operating income and led to a 3 percentage point decline in domestic park attendance. This is why Goldman Sachs is saying that for a storm this size and this impactful, this might be upwards of $150 to $200 million, and perhaps even a larger decline than what was experienced with Irma. So there are, let's say 200 million reasons as to why Disney is being wishy-washy with all of this. But again, you have, anywhere between 80 to 100,000 cast members that are going to be impacted by the company's decisions regarding the Walt Disney World Resort, and also to hundreds of thousands of guests that will obviously be impacted on what Disney ends up doing right now. So again, we know why, but now you as the viewer at home know exactly why Disney is doing what they're doing.
Right. And I'll also add here, when we talk about $150 to $200 million in revenue lost, that's about how much they make on a movie right now. If they have an $800 million movie, they might take home that much, maybe a little less. And they only do, they should only do like 6 of those a year, but they're in a different spot than they used to be. One thing that I want to throw in here, this from WFLA, Tampa Bay News Channel 8 on your side. That brings up memories there. This is the 8 a.m. update, which we're already recording this after 8 a.m. But I just want to point out here, the graphics are showing 155 mile per hour winds, storm surges affecting west coast of Florida from Flamingo northward to Swanee River, including Charlotte Harbor and Tampa Bay, east coast of Florida from Port Canaveral. Hurricane warning is in effect for, everybody, and a storm surge warning for Altamaha Sound, Georgia to Edisto Beach, South Carolina. Hurricane watch for everybody. This is something that, we're talking about Orlando a lot because that is where the theme parks are, but just want to keep our thoughts and prayers there for the residents of Florida in general, and especially to my hometown of Tampa. Guys, stay safe out there. And of course, we will try to update everyone as we can. We are going to end up talking about the business aspects of the Disney company for all of our other coverage. The WDW Pro Show usually has an Agatha after party this evening on Wednesday nights at around 9 p.m. Instead, we'll be doing a hurricane show starting at 8 p.m. Eastern time, and you all are welcome to join. And if we've got nothing to talk about, I think we will end up talking about Agatha. So, one of them is a disaster in a different way. And of course, that Park Place will be streaming tomorrow, 12 p.m. Eastern. If there's any news about the hurricane, we will be sharing it there. Vash, is there anything else we need to add?
I just wish everybody good luck on what is going to befall Florida in the coming hours here. This is a big one, and obviously everybody should be taking this with the utmost seriousness that it deserves.
Yep. And, our prayers are with the people of Anna Maria Island specifically. Said they're going to get 10 to 15 feet of water. Tampa Bay, 8 to 12 feet. So once it gets to Central Florida, it should be weaker. So the effect to the parks should be diminished. But there's a lot of people out there, and our prayers are with you. That being said, if you guys have any comments, drop them in the comment section below. Like this video because it helps to boost us up in the algorithm, not because you like what we're talking about here in this one in particular. And consider subscribing to That Park Plays for all the news. That should be fun.
Thanks for watching That Park Plays News. For more information, consider checking out www.thatparkplace.com. And don't forget to subscribe, share, like, and send this out on your favorite social media accounts.